Okay, now we're doing a seam finish that I call the turn and stitch. It has a neater appearance when you're finished, but it's a little bit trickier to do. You can't measure it, you can't pin it down. You're going to turn the seam allowance out so you're looking at the wrong side of the fabric, or the back side. And I'm going to gradually just turn in a wee little amount, enough that I can stitch on it and it's not going to fall out. And I'm going to use a straight stitch, so I need to make sure that my machine's back on straight. And I start by folding it over and putting my needle in. And I'm going to hold the threads tight at the back of the machine so that when I first start stitching, it actually goes straight and doesn't catch on anything. Then I'll come back and do maybe 1 or 2 small back stitches, and then I want to go forward again. But what I have to do, since this is such a small amount, I have to kind of turn it as I go. And then what I'm doing is I'm stitching really close to that fold. Okay, so I stitch about as far as I can. With my needle down, I come back, I kind of regroup, turn the fabric a little bit more, continue stitching. It's hard to hold on to at the very edge, so you just do your best. Go ahead and stitch some more. If your fingers get too big to hold it in place, sometimes I even take a pin and just kind of hold it down until I get close to the edge there, and I can back stitch again. Just about 1 stitch is probably about all you need. Okay, and then we'll take it out, and it looks like that. And when you would open up the fabric, it looks like a nice finished flat edge. And then we'll come back and we'll do the same thing to the other side. So you'll be able to see what that's going to look like when we're done. So again, I turn it over. So I'm working with the back side of the seam allowance only. Go ahead and flip it over. Start it by just, again with the hand wheel, I turn it towards myself to bring the needle down. Then I lower the presser foot once the needle is where I want it to be. Go ahead and do a stitch backwards. Then release and go ahead and do my regular straight stitching forward. And again, I'm trying to keep it close to the fold on my stitching. I've got a spot on my machine that I'm watching so that I'm keeping the fabric pretty equal in distance over as I stitch, so that I'm going to have a nice uniform stitch, not too far, not too close to the edge. And then again, I do a little back stitch. Sometimes it kind of rumples up because you've got such a small amount of fabric there, but that's okay, just do your best. And then we'll take that back out. We'll trim both ends, and when I open it up, you will see again we would press that open flat. I pressed this one a little bit before I stitched it just so it would lay a little bit better for you to see. And that is my turn and stitch seam finish. You can see it's a little bit nicer than the zigzag as far as looks, finished edge, a little bit more professional looking. It doesn't have the little looseness here. But what can't happen is it cannot ravel out now when the garment is worn or when it is laundered. Go a little bit closer so you can see.